Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons & Doom Biscuit. We're in the 3.5 Monster Manual, and we're on part 2 of the Triton. Now, in the first part, we made this ugly guy. Minus we didn't have a conch or that cool shoulder pad thing. But we made a scaly fishman bottom, a scaly fishman top, and hair. We also made him a trident. So let's start out by giving him a base coat. He's primed in black. And we're going to give him a base coat with this mountain blue, and this is a pretty thin paint. I don't know why it's so thin. It's the same Walmart paint I always buy, but this time it's super thin. And we're going to use this. We're going to give him a base coat with this. And the reason is because even though all his parts are different colors, we want the undertone to be like a scaly fishman blue. So this guy doesn't have a downstairs mix-up, but he's very old Gregish. And these guys are, unlike old Greg, are not confrontational. They want to be left alone. Now, if you do attack them or their homes, they'll get aggressive. But they're not the thing you got to fear. It's the fact that they can summon friendly sea creatures to help them. And they have the summon Nature's Ally 4 spell, so they can get like a water elemental to come and drown you and kill you. They themselves are kind of punks. Alright, we got our blue here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just kind of get it. So this is like the tone we're seeing underneath stuff. Sweet. Hopefully this works out good and looks nice. I'm going to set that aside and we're going to hit him with the hot air gun. +2 hot air gun of burning, because I know you guys will love it when I use magic items. And on low heat. I'm just going to dry him off. Now, the back of his spear is kind of curved because it's a hero click that was already wonky, and I wanted to fix that, but I wasn't sure if that could really be done without any serious repair. So just right now, while this is warm, let me see if I can't straighten that out a little bit. I'm not sure if I can, but if I could, that'd be swell. Alright, I don't think that's going to work. Okay, well, it's going to be a funky shape. And that's okay, because these guys aren't master craftsmen. They're master scaly fishermen. So as it cools, because it's hot and it's a little bendy, we'll let it cool for a second. Let's get our white paint. And we're going to do a dry brush all over this guy with this. I say dry brush. It's going to be more of a dryish brush. I have way too much paint already, I can tell. And we're going to try to find some detail on him that we can play with. Sweet. There will be some. It will not be phenomenal. But this miniature isn't a Dungeon Swag mini with tons of detail on it. This is a hero click. Plus a hero click. Plus a hero click. Plus a hero click. And one of those minis from the D&D box sets. I think it was the Temple of Elemental Evil box set. I can't remember. That's where the chest came from. And at one point, one of the arms was from that, too. Okay. Let's hit his face a little better. And we're sure we're going to have an undertone of blue there. I'm putting my white away. And I'm going to rinse out my brushes real quick. And that makeup brush is going to not be used again, I'm sure, so I'm going to set that away. A little bit of Dawn dish detergent in your rinse water is helpful. It doesn't have to be Dawn, maybe, I don't know, but I've always used Dawn. Okay, so that's just what I have. Whatever you have work, I've always used Dawn because that's the kind that we buy for our house and stuff too. And no, that's not like a sponsorship kind of deal. That's just what we buy. So I'm going to do the light colors first because they're the easiest to cover up. So I'm going to get a pink. This is called Cameo Pink, and I think it's dried up. It's dried up and ruined. All right, time out. I got another Cameo Pink here that is not dried up and ruined. So I'm going to get a Cameo Pink first. I'm going to get a size 1 brush. This is the starter brush from Army Painter. And my brush is damp. And I'm going to get this thinned out some. Okay. And then I'm going to come over all the torso with this pink. And I don't care if I get some cracks showing of the blue through. That won't hurt me. I'm going to hit his face with that. Okay. I'm going to go up into his ear and side of his head. And I'm not looking for a perfect job. I want a good job, though. Okay. Well, there's some spots here where I didn't do a great job with the gluing. Oops. You got to be really careful using baking soda for this stuff because it tends to create unpleasant textures where you didn't want them. Okay. And we'll cover his arms and his back. And like I said, if a little bit of blue shows through, that's going to be all right. Now, I'm a pretty chill dude in general. I try not to spaz about everything. And sometimes I do. But I'm having a little bit of personal strife in my life right now. It's not directed at me, but it's directed at a family member. So if everybody could just say a kind thought or have a nice thought for me to help me keep my shit together and not get angry and lose my shit. Because being angry in this situation won't help anything. Won't fix anything and won't make it better. So I'm hoping that I'll keep my cool and be a beacon of strength for others. And then the situation will pass us by and be gone. And it'll be in the rearview mirror and I'll be glad that I kept my cool. But I'm an angry person who wants to get on the phone calls or find where people are and make ridiculous, unneeded threats that probably won't help anything. Not a bit. And I'm rational enough to know it won't help. But I'm not smart enough to completely keep myself from thinking about it. Okay. Let's get that brush set aside. And we're done with that cameo pink. We're going to hot air gun this guy. And that's good because I took some Motrin and some Tylenol, but my fingers are like, especially in this cold, they're just getting where they don't want to work. Okay, now I'm going to get a really small brush with a plastic bristles, and I'm going to get a peach color. If I can find it. Here it is, Sun-Kissed Peach. Sorry, I was having trouble getting the lid off that. I'm going to dry brush that across. Not dry brush, but pull that across and try to create a sort of a flesh tone on him. And I don't care how perfect it is. But I want it to look okay. Okay. A little bit too much paint on there, that's okay. I'm not going to sweat it. By the way, for those of you that are tired of lizard and reptile and amphibian and fishman, tomorrow's troglodyte. But I think after that we're pretty much done with scaly fish people and the like. I think that's the end of them for this book. Yes, people have suggested that I do the other monster manuals. Yes, I do have all the 3rd edition 3.5 monster manuals. No, I do not plan on ever committing to doing an entire book of somebody else's ideas ever again, because that is annoying, especially when you hate half the stuff and think it's redundant. The biggest votes right now on the website and on the YouTube, or sorry, on the Discord and on the YouTube, are for me to do each week a themed adventure and custom monsters for those adventures, or custom miniatures for those adventures, as to say, and custom terrain and scatter for those. So that actually was what I wanted to do, but I wanted to make sure that that's what people wanted before I just decided. Okay. So once you're pretty confident that you've covered up a lot of the pink with peach, and there's a little bit of pink and a little bit of blue showing through occasionally, it's time to move forward with the next stage. And I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm at on that. So now, I'm getting a light blue color called Caribbean, and this does not coat well, so I'm hoping that we left enough blue showing on his bottom half to make this work. And I'm going to put that brush away and get one very similar and do the same thing. I'm going to paint him blue, and I'm trying to use it almost like a damp covering, because I don't really want to paint this. I want to kind of, I don't know how to explain it, like dye it blue. I don't want to paint it blue. I want it to soak into the white that's dry there. And I don't want to overly change the saturation. And I don't want to lose the detail we got free with the white dry brushish thing we did at the beginning. Okay. Something like that. Get some good detail in there. Saved. All right, I'm going to get a lighter blue. Called Sky Blue. It's very light. And before I use this, I'm going to hit him with the air gun. And just pick out some detail. Give it like a two-tone kind of 3D pop with that. Just something real simple, not too extravagant. Just something simple to make it stick out and show that he's got layers. Okay. I want to hit a little bit around his feet some more there. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get that size 1 brush and do that Trident. So, what I'm going to do is Trident in this chocolate bar. It's a dark reddish brown. It's like a medium reddish brown. It's not really dark. I'm going to get the moisture out of my brush, using my mouth so it's just damp enough to pull the paint along smoothly. And I'm going to paint that real carefully and try not to get it on my flesh. And if I do, I do, but I don't want to. Now, up under here, up in here, that doesn't matter how perfect that is. No one's going to see that. So I'm not going to risk getting paint on the miniature to cover that. I think we got that covered pretty well. Then we're going to get the hot air gun. And I'm going to rinse out that brush while we dry him off. Right. Using that same brush we just had, I'm getting two colors. One of them is called Pavement. It is my favorite color in the entire world. And we're going to do his hair with this. And make sure you leave something to show that his ear is still there when you're doing this. Now this dude's hair, originally the hair that we stole a miniature from, his hair was like fire. But I thought it would look better as hair that's like floating in the water. And I don't really plan on doing any fire hair people anytime in the near future. Hold on. There's a little bit of water on the table here that my hand's in. It bothers me when I'm holding it. Okay. All right. Now hold on, we're not done. We're going to get a fractional brush in an off-white color. And though I have non-army painter white paint, I have this sitting right here, so. Bit of white in there. I can't see what I'm doing here. And a little bit of white in there. I'm going to do this side a little better. Then I'm going to get the gray. I'm going to give him some little eyebrows. Now, if you make your eyebrows a little thick, that can be fixed. I made mine a little thick. So I'm going to get that peach color we had, and I'm going to air gun this dude. I'm going to get that peach color. I'm just using that same tiny brush that I just had. Cleaning it out real well with my mouth. And then I'm just going to tweak that eyebrow and thin it down a little bit. And you could do that to both of those. Okay. I'm going to put that away. And then I'm going to get that off-white color. I'm just going to drag that where his mouth is, even though you can't really see his teeth well on this mini. We need that blue yet. I'm going to get some red. I'm going to give him red pupils. Or red irises. I'm not going to give him pupils. He's too small for that silliness. Okay. And he's looking to his left. All right, I messed up on his eye. Hot air gun. A little bit of that peach color. And then just clean that up real quick. And make sure his eyes are even. Just like that. Alright, we got some little more stuffs to do, guys. Clean out your fractional brush. Grab one of those little crappy brushes you were doing the half-ass dry brushes with. Try to dry that out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to grab a new one that I haven't used yet, just because I want it to be as dry as bones. Or as a bone. This one's crappy. I'm going to get this gold color here. I'm going to get a little bit on there. Shit. Or a lot of it on there. Either way. Alright, so I'm going to get my gold. I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. I'm going to start, since I know there's a good bit on my brush, I'm going to do the entire tip of the trident. Like that. And then I'm going to wipe some more of it off. And then I'm going to come back down. And all along the trident. I'm going to lighten it up some. And when you get in here by his arms, just be careful. You're looking for less perfection here. Okay. Something like that. Now we got to do his hair. So for the first little bit of hair here, I'm just going to get this Admiral blue, which is kind of a darker blue. And I'm going to get that. I'm going to go on this pavement with it. Just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to get a lighter blue, even lighter than that. But not much lighter than that. I'm going to use this bright award blue for my next one, my next coat. I'm going to get a little bit of that. I'm just going to mix it right where I was doing that at. I'm going to lighten that up a little bit more. Okay, I'm not looking for perfection there. Now that's what he kind of looks like. And you're thinking to yourself, man, that's not a very exciting mini. No, it's not. No, it's not. But we're not done. So now we're going to get a big brush like our size 3. And territorial beige. And let's paint the base. We're only really worried about the sand because we're going to paint the outside rim of this black. You want to do this to make sure you get everywhere that is not a foot. Now only one of his feet is on the base, so that should make it easy. Just don't paint that one foot. Okay. Now I'm going a little thicker than I probably should here, because I want to make sure I have good coverage coming on top of this dark base paint. See how there's a little dark in there I can't really get. Instead of taking a chance of painting on the foot, I'm just going to leave that. Just going to leave that like that. Okay, done with territorial beige. I'm going to dry this bad boy off. I'm not cleaning out my brush yet. Using that same brush, I'm going to get a little bit of yellow. I'm going to drag that around and create some variation for my undertone, for my sand. Okay, just like that. Then I have this off-white here. I'm going to get the off-white like that. And since I have some brown and some yellow in here already, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to grab this paint with this. I'm going to dry brush around, completing my sand look. And even though I said I was going to do that outer part in black, I've changed my mind. I'm going to do it in dark blue. So I'm going to get that Admiral blue that I used to do the base coat in his hair. And I'm going to, with a damp brush, just barely damp, I'm just going to get in here and paint all around there with this blue. Then I could probably do this outer rim in black, but I'm just not feeling it. And if a little bit of the dark and a little bit of the light comes through here, this paint, I'm just going to leave that as part of the design. All right. Now we have one more thing left to do, and that's just fix that flesh. Now, I was talking, and the only reason we're doing this is because I talked about this. So I'm going to get out a piece of tape, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm not going to use a soft tone. I'm going to use a flesh tone. I'm going to show you guys how flesh wash works. So we're not going to use a bunch. So I'm just going to put that little bit there for now. You want your brush to be not dry, but not wet. So I sucked on the brush to pull all the liquid out of the brush. And then I'm going to drag this out. Now this is pretty thin and it coats pretty easily. And I'm going to drag this around on his flesh. and let it go in the little cracks and stuff. And all that musculature and stuff will start to pop. See that? And you got to do this on a light color. Like, it does not look good on a darker color. Okay? And this is oil-based as well, I believe. So this takes a little bit to dry. This doesn't dry real fast. Okay? And I just noticed there's an armband on this guy, but that's okay. It's a little late to go back and do that now. I'll sit and think about it for a minute and see how much it really bothers me. Okay. So that was my flesh tone. Now check this out. Even though we painted this in blue, you can use a soft tone, or actually, if you want to get nasty. So I know a lot of people don't use speed paints, but check this out. I love speed paints. This is Runic Gray. And even though this miniature is not particularly exciting, I'm going to get that dab of Runic Gray, and then I'm going to add 2 drops of speed paint medium to it. And I want to show you guys what this does to this dude's legs. Alright, so let's look at them now before I get started. They're okay. They're okay. They're not bad. But I'm going to adequately mix these speed paint medium drops with this blue drop, Runic Gray drop, which is like a bluish gray. And then come over this and just see, even with that tiny bit of shading difference, what this unlocks on this miniature. I really do love speed paints, but I don't use any of them the way they're designed to be used, hardly ever. I just don't. I like them. I don't like the contrast paints as much, but in all fairness, I bought the first iteration of contrast paints, and I've heard they're much better now. But the speed paints are sick. These are the first speed paints that came out. I still have them because I don't use them as frequently as I could. So that makes a big difference. We can even do that in his hair. Do a little cleanup there. Give it a little interest and variation. And this is so dark, I don't think it's going to make an enormous difference, but it looks like it's making a difference, for sure. Okay? So, you can do a lot with this. Keep that in mind. You can really play with this stuff and get some good looks. Alright, let's clean brushes out. There's a long paint job for not a very exciting miniature, for not a very exciting enemy. So I hope some of you decide to use these horrible Tritons in your games so they get some love, because I have a feeling they don't get much. I think I'm about done with those. Let's get the hot air gun. All right, So if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell icon, share it with some friends, leave me a comment. Check out our website and buy some miniatures. Not these miniatures. I'm making real Dungeons bag miniatures, high quality miniatures that are priced very fairly. They're not a profit-driven thing. They're more of a two guys in their basement trying to make a business that succeeds and get people miniatures on their tabletops. So check us out if you could. We'd love it. Also, come to our Discord, paint with us, hang out with us, RPG with us. On Saturday, I'm going to run something called Doom Venture. It's going to be a couple hour long, just little fun adventure with some characters that we may stick with or we may not stick with. There's some directions on my Discord how to create a character for Doom Ventures. You can follow those. I'm going to spice those up and fix them a little bit Saturday during the day before I go to an event I have to go to. But anyways, there's our Triton. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.